Jared's Music Store received shipments of recorders and harmonicas. A shipment of 5 recorders and 4 harmonicas cost $62. A shipment of 10 recorders and 3 harmonicas cost $84. Find the cost of a recorder and the cost of a harmonica. Okay? So notice please at the top there are some instructions. Okay? Your first instruction is identify variables. That means we need to decide what variables we're going to use for this problem. We could choose X and Y because we're used to X and Y, or we could use something called meaningful variables. In this case it would be R and H. Do you care? Because I don't.
I don't care.
I don't care which one you choose. I don't care if you want to go with X and Y because that's what you're used to. I don't care if you want to go with R and H because those mean something for this problem. Does that make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. What do you want to do? X and Y? Okay. So if we're going to choose X and Y, identifying our variables means I write X equals, and then what is X going to stand for? Recorders. And what's Y going to stand for then? Harmonicas. Now, instruction 2 says write a system of equations that represent each situation. So I need to write a system of equations based on this problem. Anybody have any idea what my first equation would be based on this problem? Five recorders, so 5x, and 4 harmonicas, so plus 4y, equals 62. Very good. That's my first equation, right? Was that easy to pull it out of the words? Okay, what about the second one?
It would be 10x.
Wait, first of all, how do I even know there has to be a second one? Because there's 2 variables. I know I have to have at least 2 equations, right? What if there's 3 variables? How many equations do I have to have? At least 3, right? What if there's 4 variables? Yeah. Okay. However many variables I have to have at least that many equations to be able to solve the system. So I started with 2 variables, so I know I have to have at least 2 equations. Okay? So what's my second equation? Any ideas? 10x plus 3y equals 84. Perfect. Now the next 2 parts, I'm going to put number 3 right there and then like 3a right there. 3 says solve the equation. 3a says show your work. We're going to solve the equation and show our work. Does that make sense? Okay, at the same time. Now, do you want to solve this by graphing? Do you want to solve this by substitution? Do you want to solve this by elimination? Or do you want to solve this with a matrix?
Matrix.
Regardless of which way you choose, because I'm letting you choose, you have to show your work. Okay? So if you want to solve this like a matrix, like you said, what do I need to write first?
I'm not sure.
My coefficient matrix, right? I have to write my coefficient matrix. What is my coefficient matrix for this problem? 5, 4, 62, 10, 3, 84. Very good. Okay? And then I take out my calculator. Let it do its magic, right? It does its magic for me. Please remember we are making a new document each time, or continue on the same document I had before. You could choose number 4, current. Okay, but if you start a new document, no, we're not saving the old one. We want to use a calculator. We want to say menu matrix. Oh, matrix. First, we want to choose reduced row echelon form. And then we want to say menu matrix create a matrix. How many rows does this matrix have? Guys, if you weren't here yesterday, you don't need these steps, or you don't know these steps yet. If you'll just give me a minute, Let me get through the lesson, then we can go back. I kind of expected you to watch the video, but that's neither here nor there right now, okay? So give me a minute. For those of the people who were actually here yesterday, we're going to go through this, and then I can go back and help you out with that. Is that okay? Okay. So how many rows? 2. And how many columns? 3. So 5 tab 4 tab 62 tab 10 tab 3 tab 84 tab. Now what do I write down next? 106018. So first, what is my solution? 68. Does that make sense to answer this problem?
No.
No, it does not.
Because it's something
Okay? It is the ordered pair that answers this system, isn't it? Okay? But in order to answer, it's not really a question, but it's a statement. Most of the time it'll be a question right there, or a lot of times. But if it says find the cost of a recorder and the cost of a harmonica, how am I going to answer this question? A recorder costs $6, not just 6, right? A recorder costs $6, and harmonica costs $8. Nope, it has to be a sentence. Okay, it has to be a sentence. We cannot just put x equals 6 and y equals 8. We are answering what they asked us to find. It says find the cost of a recorder and the cost of a harmonica. We're going to answer, okay, in a complete sentence, which means capital letters, spelling as best as we possibly can. But guys, honestly, if you don't know how to spell the word recorder, like, look at it. It's right here. Okay? And then a period at the end. Yes? Any questions about this? Okay, so, like, how am I going to know for sure? What's a good way to know for sure if I have the right variables? Like, from the very beginning. What's a good way to know if I have the right variables? After I read the question, I want you to read the last part again. Find the cost of a recorder and the cost of a harmonica. Does that tell you what your variables should be? Yes. Because is there going to be extra information in some of these problems? Yes. But that last either sentence or question is going to tell you what you are looking for, and those are the things that need to be your variables. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. Another thing is, let's see, what was another thing? Oh, if you decide to do elimination or substitution, like I said a minute ago, that's totally fine. But are you going to have enough room in this space to necessarily do those? Probably not. So the first thing I want to show you is that the back of the second page is blank. You could use that space. Okay, if you're afraid you're going to run out of room, you could use that space. You could also use a piece of notebook paper, right? But if you use a piece of notebook paper, make sure that that gets stapled to this worksheet so you don't lose your work. Because without your work, what happens? No credit, right? Does everybody understand that? Okay. So what happens if if it's something like number 11? Sorted nuts, bolts, and washers are packaged and sold. Package contains 1 nut, 1 bolt, and 1 washer costs 20 cents. Package containing 2 nuts, 2 bolts, and 4 washers costs 50 cents. Package containing 5 nuts and 4 bolts costs 70 cents. Find the price of a nut, a bolt, and a washer. Well, we have 3 variables this time, right? So we can choose X, Y, and Z. Is that what you want? Okay, X equals what? Y equals what? And Z equals what? Now, I will let you get away with that as long as you know that we're trying to find the price of nuts, bolts, and washers, not like the number of nuts, bolts, and washers. Does that make sense? Okay? Because I could have you write price of nuts, price of bolts, price of washers, right? I'll let you get away with this as long as you realize what we're trying to find is a price. And when we answer the question at the end, or when we answer the statement at the end, we label it correctly. Does that make sense? Okay? Oh, here's another thing. What if one of you decided you were going to be a little rebellious and you made X equals bolts, and Y equals washers, and Z equals nuts. Can you still get the same answer?
Yeah.
Yes, because of how you have defined your variables, you're going to know what to write as your answer based on what you started with. Does that make sense? That's why when we write our answer, like we wrote our answer here as an ordered pair, but that wasn't really the focus anymore, was it? Because if somebody else wrote harmonicas as X and recorders as Y, their ordered pair would be 8, 6, wouldn't it? So that's not what I'm looking for. Yes, it's part of your work that you have to show, but this sentence tells me if you have everything lined up the way it's what's supposed to be. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's set up this one, number 11. Let's set it up. Can you help me out with the first equation? X plus Y plus Z equals 20. Okay, I'm totally fine with that. Can you tell me another way somebody might have set up the first equation? 1x plus 1y plus 1z. But you guys know that that's the same thing, right? But some people, especially visual people, need to see the 1 in front of the variables at this point. Does that make sense? And if you need to do that, that's totally fine. Can you tell me why you chose 20 and not 0.2? I'm just curious, because we can still get the right answers as long as we're careful. Does that make sense? Because this is 20 cents, so shouldn't it be 0.2? Right? But as long as if we're using 20, we know we're using 20, and 20 is cents. Does that make sense? Okay, not the same kind of sense, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. All right, somebody else, give me the second equation. 2x plus 2y plus 4z is what? 50. Now, if you use 20 in the first equation, you can't use 0.5 in the second equation. Does that make sense? If we decide we're going to use 20, then this has to be 50, just like you said. Does that make sense? We can't cross those. Okay? And then what about the last one? 5x plus 4y equals, well, what do I write for a z? There's not any washers in that package, right? So I have to just leave it blank, don't I? Okay? How would you like to solve this one?
Same thing.
Matrix? So 1, 1, 1, 20. 2, 2, 4, 50. And 5, 4, 0, 70. Very good. So we're going to come over here to our calculator and we're going to say menu, matrix, reduced row echelon form. You can't even see that, sorry. I'm going to do that again so you can see it. Menu, matrix, reduced row echelon form, that one. And then we're going to say menu, matrix. We are going to create a matrix. What size is it this time? 3 rows and 4 columns. Okay, so let's enter our data. 1, 1, 1, 20, 2, 2, 4, 50, 5, 4, 0, 70. What do I have to write down now? My answer matrix, right? I wrote my coefficient matrix, now I have to write my answer matrix. That's part of my work, isn't it? 1, 0, 0, 10, 0, 1, 0, 5, 0, 0, 1, 5. So my ordered pair that I myself got was 10, 5, and 5, right? Now let's make that make sense in a sentence. A nut costs 20 cents. And see how it was labeled over here? So I can go ahead and use that here as well, right? 20 cents, comma, a bolt, whoops, B-O-L-T, costs, wait, is it 20 cents? It's 10 cents, right? Okay, because that's what we got right here. I think I got distracted by that 20 cents right there. Sorry about that. Thank you for correcting me. Good. A bolt costs what?
5 cents.
5 cents. And a washer costs 5 cents. Any questions? You got this?
I got it.
And if I read all the way through these words and couldn't figure out what my variables should be, where should I look? The end, right? Find the price of a nut, a bolt, and a washer. There's your variables. Look at this one real quick. We're not going to read the whole sentence. Find the price of a tube of toothpaste, a comb, and a toothbrush. What should be my variables? Look at the last sentence. What should it be? Look at the last sentence. What should my variables be? Does that make sense? Okay. Would you please circle the following questions? 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 15.